Nisambula Vanaka, Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, and Kia ora. My name is Nigel Healey. I'm a Professor of International Higher Education at University of Limerick in Ireland, but I'm here today at the University of Canterbury at the Macmillan Brown Centre for Pacific Studies, and I'm really here to talk to you about the special edition of the Journal of Higher Education Policy and Management on tertiary education in the Pacific. When there was a call for papers for that journal, I had just finished my term, 4-year term, as Vice-Chancellor at Fiji National University. This is a university that was started in 2010 by merging together 6 colleges that had a history dating back to 1884. I was privileged to be the second Vice-Chancellor 6 years into that creation, and was part of that process for the next 4 years up to the 10th anniversary. And I thought it would be an interesting idea, given that I'm a kind of qualitative researcher tending to use an inside researcher methodology, to use that experience to reflect on the transferable lessons from the first 10 years of Fiji National University for developing countries establishing national universities. And so I used, to do this exercise, I used a quite common theoretical construct, Jamal Salmi's World-Class Universities, that really sets out the characteristics of a high-performing university in terms of the kind of quality of inputs, the concentrations of talents, the autonomy and governance, and then took from that, using the work of Lee, to look at the kind of key challenges for developing countries of establishing high-performing universities. And there's a range of those. I mean, some of them are kind of external. They relate to kind of structural disadvantage, given that you're starting from a kind of a point where you've got relatively low investment in both human and physical capital in higher education. The issue of global competition for both faculty, for students, for resources, and then some of those kind of internal challenges, the tensions between governments investing in health versus education, investing in higher education relative to primary and secondary, the lack of autonomy where you've got government interference, lack of research capability, and something very unique to the not unique, but distinctive to the Pacific, is the fact that our islands are spread over many tens of thousands of square kilometres, with very high travel costs between and transport costs, and a lack of competition which drives up the costs. So what I did using that framework was just really reflect on the first 10 years of Fiji National University's history and development, very much focusing on the developments in the curriculum, in staffing, in the investment, particularly in upgrading staff qualifications, trying to build a research culture, the investment in physical and digital infrastructure, to really see how those kind of developments played out against the backdrop of the particular challenges for developing countries of building national universities. And I think we found some quite interesting conclusions from that exercise. And given the number of Pacific Island states that have or are developing national universities, I hope that some of this work will be of wider interest to our readers. So thank you for listening. Greatly appreciated. Vanaka Vakalavu.